If you drive a Ford EcoBoost, you know the feeling, that split second every cold morning when you turn the key and just listen. Waiting to hear if today's the day it sounds like marbles rattling in a can. Waiting to see if that coolant light finally comes on for good. For over a decade, that fear has been part of owning one of these engines. But buried inside a leaked Ford dealer document is proof that this is finally ending. Ford is walking away from the engine that made an entire generation of truck owners nervous. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's changing, why Ford waited until now, and the one detail almost nobody else is reporting on. So stay with me, because that last part changes how you should actually feel about buying a Ford in 2027. First, let's talk about why EcoBoost earned its nightmare reputation, because you need to understand the problem before you can appreciate the fix. Back in 2015, Ford introduced the 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 with a bold promise. V8 power, V6 fuel economy, twin turbos doing all the heavy lifting. On paper, brilliant. In driveways across America, a different story played out. Owners started noticing carbon crusting onto their intake valves because direct injection engines don't spray fuel over the valves like older designs did, so nothing washes the buildup away. Then came the oil pan leaks, then ignition coil failures, then cracked exhaust manifolds and head gasket repairs that could easily run $4,000 per visit. But the moment that really broke trust was the recall. Ford recalled roughly 91,000 vehicles equipped with the 2.7 and 3.0-liter EcoBoost engines, including F-150S, Broncos, Explorers, Edges, and Lincoln models. This wasn't a sensor glitch. The intake valves themselves could physically crack and drop into the combustion chamber, destroying the engine from the inside while you were driving. That's not a rumor. That's a federal recall filing. And it wasn't only the 2.7. The bigger 3.5-liter EcoBoost built its own reputation for timing chain stretch and that infamous cold start rattle owners nicknamed marbles in a can, caused by worn cam phasers, the small parts that control valve timing. Intercooler condensation caused violent misfires. Turbos failed and left people stranded. Meanwhile, the smallest EcoBoost engines, the 1.5 and 1.6-liter units, suffered coolant intrusions so severe that some of them could actually catch fire, triggering a separate recall of their own. Here's what made all of this worse. Repair shops started noticing the same failure points showing up again and again across completely different vehicles. A Bronco with 60,000 miles, an F-150 with 90,000 miles, an Explorer that had never missed an oil change. Different owners, different climates, same handful of recurring problems. When mechanics start seeing identical patterns across unrelated vehicles, that's not bad luck. That's a design issue. And it's exactly the kind of thing that turns a loyal customer base into a skeptical one, no matter how good the horsepower numbers look on paper. So when people say the EcoBoost nightmare, they are not exaggerating for views. This is a documented, years-long pattern, verified by federal recall data and repair shop records, not internet gossip. And that reputation followed Ford around for the better part of a decade, showing up in owner forums, in resale values, and in dealership conversations where buyers would flat out ask to be steered toward literally anything else under the hood. Now here's the reveal you clicked for. A leaked dealer order guide for the 2027 Ford F-150 confirms Ford is dropping the troubled 2.7-liter EcoBoost as the truck's standard engine entirely. Replacing it is a brand new 3.0-liter EcoBoost V6, becoming standard equipment across the XL, STX, XLT, and select Lariat trims. I want to be straight with you. Ford has not issued an official press release locking in every spec yet. This is coming from a leaked internal order guide, so treat exact numbers as close to final, but not yet officially confirmed by Ford's marketing team. That said, multiple independent outlets have now verified the same document, which makes this about as reliable as pre-announcement information gets. Here's what we know so far. The new 3.0-liter EcoBoost is expected to produce somewhere between 400 and 418 horsepower, a real jump over the outgoing 2.7. That's not a small bump. That genuinely puts this engine in serious competition with V8 territory, while still promising better fuel economy than a naturally aspirated 8-cylinder could ever deliver. But horsepower isn't actually the headline here. The real headline is what this engine swap signals about how Ford builds trucks going forward. This is not Ford's first attempt at fixing EcoBoost's reputation. The second-generation 2.7-liter already received upgraded gaskets, improved cooling components, and a reinforced timing chain, and that update measurably reduced owner complaints. So Ford has a track record of actually engineering solutions instead of just slapping a new badge on old problems. The new 3.0-liter shares its core architecture with the tougher, more battle-tested units already proven in performance trucks like the Raptor and Ranger Raptor, which is exactly the kind of pedigree EcoBoost skeptics have been asking for. But here's the detail almost nobody else covering this story is talking about. Ford isn't only swapping the small EcoBoost. They are simultaneously expanding availability of the naturally aspirated 5.0-liter Coyote V8 back into trims that had lost it, including the King Ranch and Platinum. Think about what that actually means. Ford isn't betting everything on turbo technology fixing its image problem. They are hedging, giving skeptical buyers a proven, simpler V8 option. At the same time, they're pushing their newest turbo engine forward. That's not confidence in a fix. That's Ford covering two bets at once, which honestly tells you they're still not 100% certain the new EcoBoost has fully earned back trust. This dual strategy looks like a direct answer to Ram bringing back the Hemi and GM doubling down on V8 power. And it's the clearest signal yet that the entire truck industry thinks buyers still don't fully trust small turbo engines, no matter how many horsepower numbers get printed on a spec sheet. So what does this mean for you? If you already own an early 2.7 or 3.5-liter EcoBoost, none of this changes your engine today. Your maintenance habits are still what determines whether you hit 200,000 miles or end up in a repair shop. Use full synthetic oil, stay ahead of your oil change intervals, and get your intake valves professionally cleaned before carbon buildup turns into a performance problem. Those three habits alone separate the EcoBoost owners who never have issues from the ones posting nightmare stories online. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but the data backs it up. Engines that get proactive maintenance on those exact 3 points overwhelmingly avoid the catastrophic failures that gave this engine family its reputation in the first place. The nightmare stories almost always trace back to skipped maintenance, not bad luck. If you're shopping for a new F-150 and EcoBoost's history has made you hesitant, 2027 might genuinely be the year to take a second look, once Ford locks in official specs and warranty terms. And if you simply don't trust turbocharged engines, no matter what improvements get made, the expanded 5.0-liter V8 means you finally don't have to compromise to get a Ford. Here's my honest take after digging through every recall filing, every leaked document, and every owner complaint pattern for this video. Ford knows the EcoBoost nightmare was real. They're not pretending it never happened, and they're not hiding behind marketing language either. They're quietly, methodically engineering their way out of a reputation they built themselves, one generation at a time, while still hedging with the V8 just in case. Whether the new 3.0-liter finally closes this chapter for good is something we'll only know once these trucks are logging real miles in real driveways, not leaked PDFs on a forum. I've watched enough engine controversies play out to know the loudest opinions online usually come from people who never owned the vehicle. So weigh everything you hear, including this video, against real ownership data. If this breakdown actually helped you understand what's coming, do me one favor. Tell me in the comments which one you'd actually buy, the new 3.0-liter EcoBoost or the 5.0-liter V8, and tell me the mileage on your current truck when you decide. I read every single comment on these videos, and the best answers usually end up shaping my next one. If you found this useful, subscribe, because Ford has more changes coming for 2027 that I haven't even covered yet, and you don't want to miss the next update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.